Hello fellow worshippers of the twin-tailed comet. Welcome back to another Ironweld Great Cannon painting session. In today's episode, we'll be painting the loading lever of our cannon from the Cities of Sigmar faction of Age of Sigmar. We'll be using both dry brushing and non-metallic metal techniques to bring it to life. We'll also take a closer look at the innovations introduced by the Ironweld Arsenal that made the Great Cannon an even more devastating force on the battlefield. Let's reload and fire at will. Now, while we'll be using the same dry brushing and non-metallic metal techniques as in previous videos to paint the loading lever today, let me take a moment to entertain you with a bit of history. Rather than repeat ourselves, how about we fire off a tale of innovation that led to the development of this crucial piece of artillery? Let's explore how the Ironweld Arsenal revolutionized battlefield tactics with the invention of the loading lever. The Ironweld Arsenal is known across the mortal realms as a forge of ingenuity, where the brightest minds of Sigmar's engineers and artificers worked tirelessly to perfect the tools of war. But even in such a prestigious institution, few knew that the story of the Great Cannon, the weapon that had turned the tide in countless battles, began with a simple yet profound idea: reloading speed. In the wake of the endless wars that ravaged the realms, Sigmar's forces were locked in conflict with the Chaos Hordes and other enemies of the Free Peoples. One of the greatest challenges faced by the armies of the Cities of Sigmar was the slow reloading process of their artillery pieces. Early cannons, while powerful, were cumbersome to reload, requiring crews of gunners to laboriously ram the charge into the barrel with brute strength. A single shot could take minutes to prepare, leaving the gunners vulnerable to enemy counterattacks. It was during the siege of Blackstone Keep, a pivotal conflict on the borders of the realm of Akshi, that the breakthrough came. The hero of this story was Lyra Ironstone, a talented young engineer and daughter of an esteemed Ironweld artificer. Lyra had seen the devastation wrought by artillery during the siege, but she also witnessed how the slow reloading times of the great cannons left gaps in their defense. Sigmar's forces had laid siege to the Chaos invaders, but the great cannons of the Ironweld Arsenal were simply too slow to keep up with the fast-moving skirmishers of the enemy. Lyra knew that the loading lever, a device already in use across the city-states, had made cannon reloading faster than ever before. But she wondered, could it be made faster still? She observed that the levers were often too short or required the crew to work at odd angles, especially when the barrel was elevated for a long-range shot. After the siege, Lyra was granted a meeting with Magister Thomar Paran, the chief engineer of the Ironweld Arsenal, who had become a reluctant admirer of her work. It was in his workshop, among the cluttered benches of tools and half-finished inventions, that she proposed a daring solution.
I've been studying the mechanics of artillery, Magister.
Lyra began, her voice steady with conviction.
The loading lever is essential, but its design can be improved. We need more mechanical advantage, more leverage, and a system that allows the crew to work in unison.
Thomar raised an eyebrow, intrigued but skeptical.
Go on. What do you suggest?
Instead of the current lever design, we can extend the length of the arm and adjust the pivot point to make it easier to lift the load. By increasing the leverage, we can reduce the force required to raise the heavy projectile, making the reloading process faster and less tiring for the crew.
Thomar stroked his beard thoughtfully.
You're suggesting a larger lever then. A simple change like that could make a difference, but what are the cannon's overall stability? Will the design hold under the stress of constant use?
We can reinforce the frame.
Lyra replied confidently.
By placing the pivot point closer to the barrel, we can ensure that the lever's movements are stable and controlled, even during the most intense battles. It'll allow the crew to reload more efficiently without sacrificing durability.
Thomar nodded, clearly impressed. Lyra smiled.
This could work. Sometimes the most effective innovations are the ones that build on what already works.
With Thomar's approval, Lyra and her team of engineers set to work on the Ironweld Thunderbolt, a prototype incorporating her new lever design. It was a simple yet effective improvement. By lengthening the lever and adjusting the pivot point, the crew could more easily lift the heavy load during reloading, reducing the strain on their muscles and allowing for a quicker turnaround between shots. The new design also included a reinforced frame to ensure stability under the pressure of constant use on the battlefield. The test came during a skirmish with the ogres near the outskirts of Hammerhal. The great cannons of the arsenal were positioned at the front line, ready to unleash their fury. As the signal was given, Lyra's new design was put to the test. The reloading speed of the Thunderbolt was unlike anything seen before. The crew could load and fire twice as fast, with the added leverage making the task easier and less tiring. When the great cannon roared again, its shot landed squarely in the ranks of the ogres, tearing apart their front lines. The artillerymen cheered as the second round was loaded and fired in record time, overwhelming the enemy forces with an unrelenting barrage. The success of the Thunderbolt sparked a revolution in Sigmarite artillery. Word of the Ironweld Great Cannon's improved loading lever spread quickly across the cities of Sigmar, and within a few years, the improved loading lever became standard issue in every battlefield cannon. Artillery units now had the capability to reload faster and more efficiently, allowing Sigmar's armies to unleash a devastating barrage with greater speed and precision. Lyra Ironstone, now a leading figure in the Ironweld Arsenal, continued to innovate, but it was her work on the loading lever that had secured her place in history. Thanks to her tireless efforts, Sigmar's forces gained the upper hand in artillery warfare, and the great cannons would forever be known as the weapons that changed the course of battle. Even as the years passed, the Ironweld Arsenal never ceased its work. New modifications were continually made to the great cannon, improving accuracy, range, and fire rate. But the story of how Lyra Ironstone and the Ironweld Arsenal revolutionized artillery with the humble loading lever would live on in the legends of Sigmar's warriors. A reminder that even in the heat of battle, a simple innovation could tip the scales of war. And so, the Great Cannon of Sigmar, once a slow and cumbersome weapon of war, became a symbol of the efficiency and ingenuity of the Ironweld Arsenal, unleashing destruction upon the enemies of the free peoples with the might of Sigmar's forge. We hope you enjoyed today's painting session and the lore we've crafted for this episode. Please note, this is purely fan-created material designed to enhance our hobby and is not part of the official Age of Sigmar story. It's always a pleasure to bring a little bit of the mortal realms to life with you, both through miniature painting and the stories we share. We'll now complete our work on the loading lever before showing you the final result. Remember, you can find the list of colors we used in the video description. That's all for today's painting session. We hope you found it entertaining. In the next episode of this sub-series, we'll be painting the artilleryman to stand proudly alongside the cannon we've worked on today. Thanks again for being a part of our quest to conquer the gray. And as always, keep on painting, and take care.